So I guess we're losing Icon. I wonder who we're replacing him with.
Yeah, we're going to start with that.
It's a heliodrome.
I got a lot of answers to my questions. I figured out why the heliodromes were here.
Yep. So yeah. What I don't want to put Theta on the spot. We don't have to come up with all of these answers.
My
right
guy
now.
can literally be anywhere for any reason. He's literally a character so ambiguous he can be dropped into any scenario. And I assure you, he would both stand out like a thumb and fit.
Okay.
Their superhero name, the Everyman.
All right. Oh, well, that's handy then. Okay, so
Captain Average.
So where do you guys want to go first? Lael wants to bring you back to the village to tell the tales of your greatness to the chief. But it's up to you where you want to go and what you want to do.
I suppose that's where we have to go first.
Sorry, that was a yes for the village?
Yes.
All right. So Lael leads you back through the woods, and you can see that on this this village, I imagine, is on the side of a sort of a steep incline. So it's this tiered village of sorts. And when you return, you can see anyone that you pass by who normally would kind of turn away or give you suspicious glares. Now Lael is running up to people. He's grabbing their attention forcefully, and he is telling them of your heroic deeds. And you're still getting a lot of skeptical looks. But apparently Lael is kind of he's a popular figure in the town. So people are paying attention. And one or two of the Phalon even give you appraising looks like, hey, maybe you are worth something. In any case, they seem it seems interesting that there are claims that the outsiders have been driven away from the mountain, the cave that speaks, and this is good news for them. And Lael will lead you to the center of the town where the chieftain's hut is. But as you get there, you see something that is a little bit disturbing. You all, no doubt, recall Artful Alan, the cat bard that you befriended, who seems nice enough, seems like he doesn't understand that his name means crafty and thieving. So outside of across the way from the chieftain's hut,
to be fair to Artful Alan, it could also mean that he thinks he's hot with the lady.
Oh, okay. All right. And that's probably
not in the way he thinks might actually, work on ladies' mind.
Gotcha. Well, he does think of himself as a charmer.
Or with the guys. I'm not here to judge.
Right. Well, whoever. I mean, you'll recall that his whole mission for coming here was because he heard a Phalon song from a beautiful Phalon maiden years ago that haunts him, and he needs to know the words and possibly the identity of this wolf as well.
So he's a creeper too.
He thinks of himself as a romantic, but yes, that's really up to the
everyone's the hero in their own story.
Heck yeah. Okay, well, bad news for Alan. You can see that there is what looks to be a wooden cage or open air jail cell of some description. It might be where slaves would be kept if they were brought for market. And currently it has a sole occupant, which is your friend Artful Alan, who when he sees you jumps up.
These are cages where slaves might be kept. Inside is Alan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured as much.
And outside of the cage, you can see there is one sort of wide, somewhat rotund wolf, and there is a somewhat slimmer skunk. They are both peering in through the bars at Alan and having a discussion. Based on his dress, you can surmise that this large wolf is the chief. And also by the fact that Lael runs up to him, breathlessly expositing the tales of your heroism.
Oh, wow. I imagine they're saying things like, so can he push a plow? When we're talking plow, we're not talking those nice iron plows that you see in the Renaissance, This one's built by Jethro Tull. We're talking about the really, really rough one.
It's just a big rock with a stick tied to it. That you
Oh
just have
yeah,
to
and we live in a swamp, so you like have to go through mud, and then you have to go through rocks. You wouldn't think there'd be this many rocks in a swamp, but I have a
And then
really
the farm's
rough
gonna sink
swamp.
into the swamp, and then you build another farm on top of that one.
Like, I don't want to buy. Yeah, there we go. And I don't want to buy this slave and have him like get tired if we only do like 10 rows. Like, can you really promise me that? It's like, well, I can't really promise. Welcome to Ironclaw, everyone.
There you go. Well, as you guys speak the local language now, you can catch bits and pieces of this conversation as you approach. And the skunk is saying, no, that's not enough. I want full payment, full recompense. This cur has gone too far. And the chieftain says, like, well, we do have laws for these things.
I want to go talk to Alan.
Okay. Alan is going to see you and say, Anushka! Oh, bless the stars. You've come. There's a grave misunderstanding. And I would greatly appreciate it if you would help me out.
Well, I serve with joy, so I must hear your side of the story. Hold on. I'm literate now, so I want to get my journal out and write all of this down.
Okay, all right. This is what Alan has to say. So, before we met, you remember that I was, a little light on food. During my journey, I had some misfortune. Along the way, I was, I was hungry. I had burned through my rations. I got myself slightly lost, and I just found some berries that, seemed to be up for grabs, so I grabbed a few of them. It was only later I found out that I was poaching, apparently, on the grounds of this one Gormley, and he cocks a thumb over to the skunk. Gormley apparently makes his living selling, labor, as it were. He's a slaver of some description. So, long story short, he claimed that my life was forfeit. I had broken the law, and him and his men, they captured me. It was only through good luck, I should say, that a flock of goblins descended on them not 2 nights after that. And during during their escape, I managed to slip off into the brush. It was only hours before you found me that I was able to get the shackles off. Anyway, as you can see, this is all a terrible misunderstanding. But apparently, Gormley does sell to this village, and when he saw me, he said some things to the chief, and here we are now. Oh, I should also say that I was not successful in discovering the lyrics to that song. Apparently, the song is not well known outside of this tribe, and it has some significance to them. So those that I did ask about it were very cross with me, we'll say.
Well, that is a tragedy. Even more so that it could have been avoided with some. Let's just say that, because I'm Anushka and I'm nice. So, I know that things look dark, but you should never give up that ship. Please, hold your head high, and whatever may befall you, you should always approach it with dignity and pride. For if this life has taught me anything, you never know when the next moment will be your last. Seeing as we are both comrades and Southerners and folks of the city and not the pagan wastes, I feel some sense of camaraderie and will make an attempt to see what I can do, as I would feel some emotion if you were to be consigned to a life. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. I'm sorry. I'm a horrible. Fellow gamers, am I a horrible person that I'm laughing at this guy's misfortune?
No, point and laugh. Laugh some more.
Am I a horrible person for not doing the thing that will probably definitely save him?
I mean, you won't be alone pointing and laughing at him. There are other Phelan gathered in the square who seem to be having sport at this guy's misfortunes as well. So
it's like, man, I may have had a terrible day. I'm not that guy.
Well, I guess if you wish to free him, we ought to speak with the chief here, who seems like he's wrapping up his little conversation.
Well, okay, yeah, because Connor brought this up. It's like, if we want to free him, we probably would have to pay restitution. Problem is that while I have some coin, I don't, that doesn't go very far here. I don't really have anything I could barter for him.
before we go much further, I am officially offering you a goal here.
Oh,
the
crap,
goal would be
yeah.
The goal would be to save Alan from Phelan justice. But if we want to be more specific, Phelan law. More specifically, prevent him from being enslaved or killed.
Right. He's probably going to be enslaved. I can't imagine, even though he's an outlaw in his life and he's beyond the law, that they would kill him just for stealing berries. That's just bad karma.
I was mostly thinking like Theta and saying, well, we could save him from a life of slavery by just killing him now. And I wanted to head that off at the pass.
Okay. Now we can see the difference between myself and Theta. No, I'd be more likely to buy him, but I don't think
I'm going to do a potentially foolish thing. Connor's going to roll negotiation. I'm hoping you'll give me a D12 circumstance or quote-unquote tool bonus for offering this leader my alumen in exchange for the prisoner.
You have etiquette. Don't forget that you have. So, in other words,
I have etiquette, but for the wrong culture. So there
Did you
will
take
be
that Cosmopolitan gift?
Oh yeah, we don't have
Cosmopolitan
yet. Yeah,
I did offer you that.
Oh, you offered us that?
Yeah, I assumed you sold it back, but I think for.
I thought we took language Berlafine.
Yeah, there was another gift though.
We got Cosmo too.
Yeah,
because I don't have it recorded.
I'm sorry. It was after the fact. It was the gift that I had picked out but didn't remember, and I said I would get it to you, and I posted it in the chat. So that's probably why you don't remember.
What did we get that one for?
Let's see. I'm gonna scroll up here because I think I did bold it, so it should stand out.
Probably for saving our informer. I think
for delivering the letter. Yeah, this was for delivering the letter specifically to the heliodromes. That was
then what did you get language Berlafine for?
I think you got that for. Let me go through.
I thought we got that for delivering the invitation.
Party goals.
See, the problem was you guys bounced around a lot of gifts, and not all of them were. Not all of them.
Originally, for Berlafine, I think it was suggested that we were going to learn Zongese, but then it was recommended no, we've spent more time in Felonland, and so it was changed to that.
So that was for ensuring.
That was for saving the performer.
Saving Quajiao, yeah.
Okay, well then we have Cosmopolitan. And yes, your etiquette. Besides, all nobles are pretty much the same. Big bunch of stuffed shirts who think they're so important and valued more than the commoners when their heads will be the first one on the blocks when the guillotines fall. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to do that.
What?
And take an extra D8, Connor, for your attempt. I'm here, and I'm just going to say, look, we know he's but a good man. He's slow, he's stupid, he's misinformed, he's rude, but he surely didn't mean anything by any of this.
Okay, this is still going to be tricky, but let's do it. So I do want. Okay.
I didn't help at all there.
And this is not a woman, so I don't get my favorite use.
No, not yet. All right, so
11 is nice.
That is strong. So here's what happens. So you approach.
And you have a favorite use of negotiation
with women.
Oh, that's right, with women.
Yeah,
okay, never mind.
Yep. So
I figure in a society something like ours, it's limiting enough because not many women pursue the kind of
No,
position where
it's a valid thing. Some people might not.
I mean, when I look at Calabria, I think this society is probably something like ours.
all right, you got it. Yeah.
No matter
I think it
who
would count.
I'm now fully
does not self-identify as women, it's fine.
Mhm.
Also, pointedly, women doesn't include people underage because
Yeah.
those would be girls.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. No, I never had a problem with that one, and maybe it exposes some gender bias where we haven't had a lot of opportunity
Well,
to use that
pointedly, it won't
specialty.
work.
But
Pointedly, it won't work on elementals who don't have any gender identity.
yeah, fair enough.
I mean, to be fair, if there's a setting to have gender bias in, it's probably the medieval era.
It's probably this. Yeah, that would make some sense.
Maybe don't reflect it though.
Right. We'll be knowing about it. So, and now that we're using our new fancy token generator, we'll probably see more female characters pop up, at
50-50
least among the
chance.
ranks. 50-50. There we go. So, as you approach the chief and inquire as to if he would be interested in the your Alumin armor as the price tag for releasing Alan, he looks to you, and he's been getting an earful from Lael, and he says, well, if it is true that you all have done this service for us, driving the outsiders from our sacred territory, then I will give you an opportunity to speak your piece. But you should know that this man has been charged with several crimes.
Please, wait, hold on. Get my journal out. Get the ink fresh. Okay, I gotta hear this.
Okay, so the least of which is crimes against our good merchant Gormley here, and he gestures to the skunk, which is who claims that this creature stole from his property. He foraged on his land, and was also trespassing on his land, which, of course, is common amongst your kind. Any who travel up here are heedless of the markers of property that we clearly establish. But there is a graver trespass as well. It seems that this this cat knows something of our sacred songs. These are dangerous and powerful druidic magics. They are not fit to be on the lips of those not of the Gaelach tribe. And so it is a much more grave. This is a trespass against nature itself, and that carries a much more serious penalty.
Yeah, he didn't mention that he knows secret
then
music.
I shall fight as his champion.
That is actually very interesting. Okay, time out, because judges. Is trial by combat a typical part of the match law?
Okay.
The chess law?
So, all right. So the chieftain is the boss. Like,
Yes.
we deep dive into the book. The chieftain is the boss, and we are in a village, right?
Correct.
Right. So okay. So we're not in a random place. So there are brehons who are wandering judges who give out the law. They're helpful because since they're a stranger, they don't have a dog in this fight, which is a funny thing to say around the Phelan walls. In other words, you want a stranger judge to wander into town because they'll be impartial. You know they're not going to side with the Gilroys or the Fitzpatricks. They're gonna, they can be fair. But this is different because he's technically an outlander. So I mean, I'm not an expert on Gaelic stuff, but trial by combat would be if they wanted to show something off, and it would be to first fall. And there are judicial champions. There are like once again, there are lots of people out here who want to prove that they're badass warriors, but we're not actually at war. So one way to prove that you're a badass warrior is to beat the crap out of a stupid foreigner. Show off everybody, hey, the stupid foreigners came and I beat the crap out of them. Yeah, I'm kind of a big deal. So I think they would only accede to that if they kind of wanted to get rid of Alan. I think the problem here is that Alan knows forbidden music. So, because from what I'm hearing here is that they want to, they don't want him sharing the forbidden music with anyone. So, yikes. The first thing I was thinking is we could get his
An oath.
settlement argued down to mutilation.
Ooh.
Because
Cut
if
off his
they,
tongue.
yeah, that was the first thing I was thinking of, or cut off his, because well, it's forbidden songs in the oral tradition, so I'm assuming that that's what we'd have to do. We couldn't just cut off his finger.
There is an opposite way around this, where instead of being an outsider who happens to be trying to learn secret stuff, he could instead become a part of the community
Um,
and
I
dedicate
don't
his
think-
life to a new path.
the problem I'm having with that is I don't think anybody wins if they do that. Because do you really want Alan as a part of your community?
Wow.
Well,
I'm right
if
here,
he's
says
genuine
Alan.
in his desire to learn and willing to go ahead and be a part of the community and maybe join them, then he would be a part of the organization that is allowed to learn it.
Right. And also the problem is we've got Gormley here. Like Gormley, like trial by combat would impress the Phelan. But the problem is Gormley is the skunk. I'm assuming that Gormley is dressed up like a Feacullen or somebody from a different tribe, right?
Yes, yeah.
Right. So if Gormley doesn't give a care if you win trial by combat. Gormley was supposed to get berries and sell berries. Gormley can't do that because the berries were eaten by this guy. Gormley wants to get paid. So your trial by combat's not going to impress Gormley. And I doubt Gormley wants to fight you. I mean, look at you, Connor.
Gormley might take the armor. You're not sure. You'd have to speak to Gormley.
Well,
that would take care of at least some of the charges.
I think we might be able to pay them off, and also we just did get rid of the interlopers. We just did get rid of the
Right. I suppose part of our introduction should be, by the way, we got rid of the interlopers.
So, I mean, my suggestion to Connor would be that you should appeal to the local chieftain and say, okay, we know this guy did forbidden stuff, but we also got rid of the, forbidden foreigners, and seeing...
You can make him promise not to speak those songs.
Right, and they might be inclined to give it to you if you ask correctly, and you do have all the necessary skills to ask correctly. You do have blooded title, you talk like someone with blooded title, and you'd have an excuse. Then we just pay Gormley off, because I'm sure we could offer Gormley something in return for the value of the berries. Gormley, I think, really just wants to get paid. I don't think he... I haven't gotten a conversation with him. I don't think he's like the kind of guy who's angry for blood. I think he's the merchant who's realistic, wants his money.
But they don't take, our
money.
Or anything like
Well,
that.
he wouldn't want our money because he couldn't spend it. He probably doesn't want this flyer to get some wine from some witch that's several leagues away. Why do I keep finding these?
Would he
How
be
do we still
interested
have
in an
these?
incredibly large, heavy, expensive, and well-made hammer, of which we have no use of, but in these lands nobody cares about whether or not anyone has it?
That's the funny part, because it is a giant slaying hammer that can also be used as a tool, and it might not set off any it's prescribed in southern lands, but here they might make also remember we have better forges than they, because that's
Right.
And certainly the merchant could sell it off to a warrior and make more profit than the berries. It would pay him certainly for all of his time and trouble.
They might not know
Be
what
accepted.
it is. Yeah, they might not know what it is and might not know what it represents, and they might take it. You could offer that as a gift to Shmiz, and that would be my suggestion if you guys want to invest that in getting it.
That's actually a very good idea.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I think that all is a lot to recommend. That's what I'm going to recommend, because you seem like a reasonable person, and really, Alan should really know better.
Alan just shrugs.
Oh. Well, I
Alan.
probably didn't mention the mutilation. So I say we open with we did you a favor, here recognizing that the Phelan and the Avatar are good friends. Here are gifts from us. Hey, look, it's a giant, it's actually made out of brass, so it's not steel. But
Heavier than before.
uh,
Wonderful.
yeah. It's yeah, well, brass is associated with necromancy. It's the false bronze. And and seeing their friend and be if that doesn't work, then I guess our fallback is to just mutilate.
Alan doesn't like the mutilation plan. He's not a fan of that one. But
that's why it's plan B.
That's why it's plan B. Okay. Well, now you're talking to I mean if you're trying to I don't have the word. If you're trying to convince Gormley to take the extinguisher, that could be another role.
All right,
Yeah,
so
I think that would be a hard sell. Well, what else do we have? Is your wealth currently tapped?
Well, wealth is influence, right? So would that even? Oh, because I guess if you're cosmopolitan, it works, right?
Well, it could be the promise that you'll have wealth delivered to Gormley, which he may or may not accept, because you could promise him a lot of money later, and you being a foreigner, he might accept. Like if you were going to go back to Harrogate and get a bunch of stuff and have it brought here.
I don't think that chapter is passed yet.
But also, yeah, it might also be that you don't have that. What else do we have? I've got guns.
Ooh.
I mean, I don't know if Gormley, would take a gun, but I still have
fine. No, just
yeah.
kidding.
I have chapbooks. Look, I illuminated them myself with some stick figures. They're works of art, I swear.
No, but you do have this, I'll say, grabbing his staff. This is made out of gold and silver.
Yeah, I need that. I walk with that.
Why do you need that anyway? I thought love of worldly goods weighed your soul down.
Yeah, that's what makes me happier right now.
Doesn't matter. It's mine. Get your hands off it.
I don't think we have anything else. I mean, I also have the 2 rare swords, but I'd rather not get rid of those because I can't replace Gaston's rapier. It has historicity. The martial sword I could possibly give up.
Well, I mean, are you guys having this conversation in the open? Are you approaching him? You can speak his language.
I imagine this is like part of the negotiation with them. We're trying to see what are you willing to accept.
Well, gotcha. I was thinking this is one of the strategy, but in the end, Connor is the one with title and negotiation. Connor is the one who would speak.
Right.
I can promise him wealth later, but I don't know if he'll take my word for it.
I mean, we are like leagues away. And the only thing that they guys might know about Averdapal were the jerks up on the hill.
So yeah, they might not take my word for it at all.
They might be looking at Alan and thinking, like how good of a slave is Alan going to actually make? And look at him.
Yeah, look at him. I have a beautiful singing voice, though. Please don't take my tongue. And Gormley seems like not interested in the extinguisher, possibly interested in the armor. At least he can kind of like figure out what that thing might be. He is keenly interested in those pistols that you're packing there, Anushka.
Right, because they know what guns are. They're lousy for swamp fighting, but they're also enders, so that's always a plus.
Yeah, and honestly, if you have a gun and you're dealing with people who don't but know what they are, that's a bargaining chip in and of itself. Just having one really sways the negotiation in your favor. So
normally, Fea Cullens are hiding in the deep, dank swamp and very difficult to root. Gormley looks like he's a man of the world.
He's been around.
Yeah, he looks like he's also probably been to Harrogate once or twice. He speaks Burlethine, which means that he at least gets around in Phelan domain. He even though I think with us here speaking Calabrese, I think he, I can look at him. I don't actually have enough inquiry to know if he's can understand what we're saying, but I wouldn't be surprised if he can.
Anyone who wants to roll for it, it would be mind and inquiry.
I won't because I don't have any. I'm just going to assume he does.
I got some. I'll roll to see if I realize. 1 success.
Okay, yeah. you get the impression that he's probably not following every word that you're saying, but that this is not his first encounter with people speaking Calabrese, and yeah, he's a shrewd negotiator. You can learn that much by what he's trying to say hide from you.
Given that Connor is more than happy to recompense, I would be happy to give up a pistol or two for this man I barely know.
Wow.
And have no immediate desire to know. So looking at Alan.
Alan gives you like a little shrug and says, you're going through an awful lot. I'm just saying. I mean, eternally grateful.
Alan
I would
winks.
do anything to but yeah, out of character. Holy crap! You're gonna give up your ace in the hole weapons for this loser? That is impressive role.
Loving material good. I'm no, cleric who wanders around with chapbooks, but a love of material goods over that of living souls is what weighs down your soul, ties you to this world, makes your life a living.
Mm-hmm.
And
I feel like the doctor has to like pull Anushka aside at like one moment during negotiating, just go, "Are you sure they're worth a lot of money?"
Well,
I know material goods and all, but in moderation, you got to have at least a couple guns, right?
Well,
don't do anything you can't take back.
I mean, not to butt in, but didn't Harmon give you a significant amount of money before he died?
Yeah, no, Harmon also, I have coin, so I could replace.
Right, but goods are more immediately valuable than coin, I think, in this moment in place. So.
And I'm also sure, not only do I have coin, but I also serve Connor, who has a stake. I'm sure Connor would recompense me once he can.
It's fair. So, you guys are close to Harrowgate, which is sort of like ground zero for guns.
Oh my god, they have guns
at Harrowgate? Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they have guns, grenades, lots of stuff. You want to blow stuff up, that's Harry. The problem is, of course, they don't sell them to commoners, but Connor's not a commoner, is he? So
exactly.
So yeah, no, I am willing to sacrifice, and if they also would take the armor, although I'm not sure the armor is any hot stuff. Not complete.
I mean, you haven't seen anyone out here wearing that kind of armor.
I'm sure if they're Gaelic, they have some experience with chainmail, even if it's just iron. Although steel is easy to make once you smelt the iron with charcoal. But
yeah, I would have to imagine the lightness of the material. Like, this is on the opposite side of the continent from where this stuff is produced, so I would have to imagine that it would have some value, even if it's just sort of a.
Well, you see this armor. This armor stood up to that hammer.
Is it metal?
It's metal.
Yeah, metal armor would be. Metal is rare here in Phelan Domain. They don't have coal. They don't have forges. So, they don't have gun steel. They don't have good quality iron.
Isn't it actually vomit?
Oh,
no, aluminum. Never mind, aluminum, right?
Yeah, he's got.
Yeah, I keep getting mixed up. Which one is the vomit one? Eel vomit.
That's Ambroscura.
Okay.
And that's prepared up in the northeast. So that's exclusive to opinion. So that one's made from eel vomit.
Every time I think of Connor, I think he's just a guy walking around in eel vomit.
No, he's actually walking around in moon rocks.
Aluminum foil. Got it.
Yeah, he's actually
I'm a good portal conductor.
You smell delicious,
well,
Connor.
Maybe you're just a conspiracy theorist now.
See, he wasn't hit by any of the fire attacks. He was hit by the fire attacks that he needed aluminum foil. Delicious.
Yum.
Well, see, moonlight is a cold light.
So no, I'm willing to give up the guns. So go ahead. That's what I would suggest.
Wow.
I forward my gun.
He seems amenable to this trade. He looks to the chief and he nods. The chief will say, "All right, if that takes care of the debt owed to our friend Gormley here. Now, what do we do about this?"
Let's negotiate, because I'm not entirely sure he's worth both the gun.
Oh, okay. In that case, let's roll. Let's roll for it.
Do you want my assist, or are you assisting me?
You're doing the negotiation. I'm assisting you.
Yeah, I would like 3 successes for this versus 3.
Here's my attempt to assist you
Let
once
me see
more.
if I have anything here. I could lie.
Failure
I'm not
means
going.
failure means he'll trade for both guns. Success means that he'll trade for one of them.
No, I screwed it up. Take both guns.
Ah, okay. Gormley says, I mean, they seem to be a matching set. They would lose value if I only had one.
Which is hilarious because they're not.
Oh, okay.
But
Well,
I'll
Gormley
give
doesn't know that.
But I'll give both. But also I'm timid and excitable. So actually, I'm sorry, I'm naive. So yeah, I'll give up both of them. Besides, they have bad memories associated with them. I just slew a creature of unfathomable eldritch knowledge. So I'm feeling them. Yes, and also, despite what they said in the chat, yes, the pistols, the keys, most notably the wind-up keys, because they're wheel locks, and the the powder horn, the whole kit and caboodle.
Gotcha. All right. The whole thing is a pretty hefty bundle, but Gormley takes it and he nods and he says, "My business with this creature is done. Have a good day." But in Berlafine. But yeah, he's gonna trek off, quite pleased with himself, kind of like hefting this bundle of stuff as he leaves, as he takes his leave.
Well, there we
And
have
the
it then.
business is done. Very well then. Alan, you are mine. I paid for you, so you belong to me.
Now, hold on. No, this took care of Gormley's claim. We still do not. We still cannot have him out.
Those berries. I'm gonna like shake my fist at Gormley when he walks off, but
No. Yes, this is the. You basically traded your guns for berries.
well, I botched the roll, so I would still give it up. I might be mad about it, but I know no fear.
All right. Well, yes, but
All right.
The chieftain says this is a much more serious matter. We will have to consult with our, with our village druid, and our oh no, I never remember these names. Our Brehon, the Brehon, as you had mentioned, a wandering judge. They don't have any one of them in the village currently, so part of this is going to be
It could fall on
tracking
the
one
chief.
down. Oh, okay. Could fall on the chief then.
I mean, we're technically Outlander. I think we should make the proposal. Hey, we just did you a favor. As a favor, can you give us Alan?
Okay. I mean, I'm willing to roll for that as well, if you guys would like to.
I'm looking at you,
Yet
Connor.
another assistance.
Leaning on this.
I'm staying out of this. I obviously, even though I'm not as cosmopolitan as I thought I was.
Here's what I'm going to say. I'm actually going to limit this one because all of you guys claiming that you all helped out doesn't actually help Connor's claim, but Lael's claim would probably carry some weight since he's of their tribe. So you could take an assist bonus from him if you would like.
There you go.
It's a D8 for him. And I'm looking for 3 successes. Once again, it's a tricky one.
You got a 5, 4, and a 12.
Oh, hey, that's 3. Okay. All right, then. I think you guys nailed it. So the chief looks
I'm
at
all
you.
fancy, and that's what's helping here.
Sorry, what did you say?
He's being all fancy about it. Speaking all the titles and all the names that he hears for the various people who, earned such titles. Just like forms of flattery that work in this culture.
Okay. Right. The chief is going to look at you. He's impressed that an outsider has the ability to speak so well and in the tongue of Berlafine. And he, your argument is buttressed by Lael, who jumps in at any available opportunity to add color and excitement to your description of what happened. And it seems like the combined enthusiasm of Lael and the noble recitations of Connor are enough to sway the chief's opinion on the matter. He thinks for a good long time, and you can see him working his jaw in contemplation as he looks at Alan, and then he says, "Fine. We will consider this and even a debt repaid between our village. It would seem that we owe you for what you have done driving the outsiders away from our sacred site, and in return I will release this interloper to you. However, on the condition that our sacred song never again crosses his lips. Is that understood?" And Alan just gives him the biggest grin he can muster and just nods, vigorously nods. He says, "All right, he is your responsibilities now. Anything that he does while on Phelan land will be reflective of your care," he says to Connor.
I will ensure that his actions are in comport with your customs.
"I see that you do," says the chief.
You will follow your laws.
Indeed. All right. Yeah. Good. Okay. So he will get several of his men to release Alan, who throws himself at your feet, Connor, and he says, "Oh, my lord, I can't express myself. You've done me such a great kindness." Yeah, he's basically a mess.
Connor will just nod to him and kind of whisper to him, "Don't see you like this."
Oh, okay. He jumps to his feet and kind of like brushes himself off, chest out, and he kind of looks around like, "Yep, nothing to see here." Okay. It seems that you have spared him a worse fate. So what is your next stop? You do know how to get back to Harrogate from here.
And the village has been informed that the sacred cave is now theirs, right? That was part of the
Yes.
whole conversation. Okay,
Yes.
so we could have done that too. I probably want to briefly stop by the monastery, get their story of what happened, and figure out whether or not they were aware that there were some heliotropes going up into the mountains here. So I'll probably spend a
Okay.
bit of time on that, which
Where's
I
the
guess could be
last-
an inquiry.
Yeah, where's the last known whereabouts of Colette?
Colette is back in Harmony, back in the Avortipois lands.
Wow, we gotta get all the way back to Harmony. Well,
Yep.
the monastery is on the way, so all right. And Alan's coming with us because Alan belongs. Let's see. Connor, you're better with numbers. How much of Alan do I own, and how much of Alan do you own? Is it 50-50 or?